seriously now. Seriously. Because I'm nothing if I'm not serious. Two pastors are on the side of the street. And they're nailing a sign. They're out from the local town, from the church's local town. They're putting a sign into the ground, right? And the sign reads, the sign reads, the end is near. Turn around now before it's too late. That's what it says. And before long, here comes this car screaming down the road with the window down. It says, "You guys are nuts! Go back to where you came from, you fanatics!" And it speeds around the corner. Before long, you hear a bunch of screeching and splash. The one preacher looks at the other one and says, "You think we should have just put the bridges out?" You're supposed to laugh harder for me. Look at that. So you know me, I don't say anything that's not relevant to what we're talking about. So what's this really mean? I don't know. But this does remind me of something else that I see almost every single time I'm out on my route with Dunbar. When I'm out on my route, this is one town, it's one place where the church members are out on the street and they're holding signs, just like what we see there. Now, it's not like the signs you are thinking about right now. They're not saying things like, "The end is near," or possibly, "Repent or you're going to die." Those are the things you might see parodied on TV because they like to make fun of what church members going out the street. And they do it all the time. And there's old Homer Simpson ringing the bell, "The end is near." That's not what they were doing. What they had, actually, were signs that were tactfully appropriate and didn't create some sort of antagonistic view of the church, like providing the knowledge that you guys are definitely on a glide path to hell and you need to be like me. Difference of "I'm better than you." Almost like the Pharisee in the church that was praying, saying, "I'm glad I'm not like that guy over there." Right? That's sort of how the world sees the church, this contrast, that we're better than they are. And that's why there's this friction going on. But they're out there on the street with the signs, and I'm wondering, you think it's working? What do you think? What are they working towards? Why are they there in the first place? If it's working, you know why they're doing it in the first place. So let's get into that a little bit. Can somebody turn the air conditioning? I forgot to flip the on switch for the air conditioning. It's on the off at the moment. If somebody could just flip it on, that'd be great. All right, so let's talk about the state of the church for a second, because that's what I believe they're out there for in the first place. The church, and when I mean the church, I mean the body of believers. And the byproduct of that would be, if you're a church member, you're a born-again Christian, you go to church most every single Sunday. Now, there's plenty of people out there that would say otherwise. They say they're a Christian, but they don't go to church every single Sunday. Instead, they'll give you this excuse. No, this is the number one excuse, in my opinion. It's what I've heard all the time. See if you recognize it. I can watch it on TV and gather with God's people just fine. Right? Oh, yeah. The church channel. All right, so let's look at that. Let's look at that for a minute. All right, great. If you can watch it on TV and be gathering with God's people, let's go on that premise for a minute and answer me this. When your son or daughter graduates high school, college, or becomes a doctor, it's just as special and just as awesome if you're watching that in your jammies in your living room on TV, right? Am I right? According to you, that's exactly right. It makes no sense, and every excuse is as flimsy as the next excuse. So we have in the United States an issue of declining population, at least the ones that commit to going to church every single Sunday. It's not the same as it was 10 years ago. And I could give you stats, and I could give you statistics, and I could give you some data, but that would only simply proclaim what we already know. There's less people going to church today than the past, right? Now, that being said, I am going to give you a stat. But I'm going to spin this a little differently. Because when we go to district assembly, and I give a report, and everybody else gives reports, and the church gives reports, right? They have a particular way it's done, and it looks like we're doing wonderful. When in the United States, we're not. You have this many percent of people going to church today, and this many people that were going to church, and the line looks like going straight across. Sort of, but that's not the case, is it? In 1950, we have roughly 45% of people of the population going to church every single Sunday, mostly. Now, they have other percentages of people going to church 1 once a month. I don't count that. Sometimes I don't count that either. We're called to gather. And so the population in 1950 was roughly 153 million people. You know how in the U.S. You know what the population is today? Double that. So if you saw a chart on this, it would look something like this. Now, let me show you something about this chart here. If we had a regular one, you'd just sort of go across. There's a line there that shows that. But this is 153 million people, 45%. This is down to 30%. At over 300 million people, it's tragic. And we fool ourselves by coming up with some sort of a number that's not really relative of the decline of the people that are going to church today than did so many years ago, because we don't take into effect the population boom we have all around us. If we have the same amount of people, we're awfully a little bit left, kind of fall. I even made another chart on this. I had to hand draw this one because that you can't even see the right one. The red one shows, oh, it's such a failure. I apologize. So what's the problem, do you think? All right. Here's the deal. There's people and polls and those statistics, but there's this guy from Lifeway that did one himself. Here's what he did. He went on Twitter. You guys know what Twitter is? Chances? Twitter is a social media program on computer. It used to be, when I was a kid, on Friday night we'd drive around the block, hang out in the parking lot, things like that. Not today. Today, kids hang out on Twitter and things like that. So, this very unscientific poll was conducted. He went on Twitter, and he asked a question. Here it is. To all those that have absolutely no intention of going to church, the question is, why do you think many churches aren't as evangelistic as they once were? Here they are. Here's the question. Top 15, I'm going to give you the top 5. First one, the number one answer from people that don't go to church. Christians have no sense of urgency to reach the lost today. This comes from people that don't go to church. Number 2, many Christians and church members do not befriend and spend time with lost persons anymore. It doesn't happen. Yes, I see that. We like to retreat into our bunkers here inside the church. Number 3, many Christians and church members are lazy, apathetic. Now that's a byproduct of society, and I think it's just sort of crept into the church today, because we live in a world where we don't even have to go shopping anymore. Just go on Amazon and you can order your groceries and come straight to you. You don't even have to leave the house. Lazy and apathetic? Yes. Yeah, it probably is, because that's simply the nature of society, and it's a part of our culture, unfortunately. Now we're the church. And that makes me sad. Number 4, we are known more for what we are against than what we are for. Yeah, okay. I'm going to write that one off. And I'll tell you why. Because we're so easily offended in this society that everybody's happy to tell you what they're against. I'm against this, and this is awful, and bad, bad, bad. And so whenever this question is asked, they simply apply that to church without really seeing what maybe gospel-centered Christian churches that are out there doing something are lovingly saying. Like this church over there in that one town. They're not offending anybody. They're just pulling up churches or biblical verses and trying to encourage conversation. Number 5, though, this is where the crux of we're going to kick off this message here. Number 5. Now, number 5 of the most answers, here it is. Our churches have an ineffective evangelistic strategy of you come rather than we go. Bingo. Bingo. That maybe should be number 1. Right? We might invite people to come to church, but we're not going out and having church somewhere else. That's what it's talking about. We're retreating back into these walls once again. And so that leads us to today's message here real quick. We are reading out of Matthew. We're not in the Old Testament today. We're doing Matthew, but I promise we're going right back to the Old Testament after this and finish our series. This is one of the most recognized messages or stories in the Bible. And Michaela, you're going to have to flip through the slides for me, okay? And we're going to read out of Matthew. Matthew 14, 22 through 33. Jesus walks on water.
Where?
into the boat. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. Now when evening came, he was there alone. But the boat was now in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. Now in the fourth watch, which means it was a good piece after midnight, closer to morning. Now in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went to them, walking out on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they said, "Oh no!" My version says, "Oh no" in there. It's a ghost! And they cried out for fear. That's why they said, "Oh no." But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Be of good cheer. It is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter answers him and said, "Lord, if it's you, command me to come to you on the water." So he said, "Come." And Peter had come on down out of the boat. He walked on water to go to Jesus, but when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid and began to sink and cried out, saying, "Lord, save me." At least he did that thing, right? Good one. And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him and said to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. And those that were in the boat came and worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." Dear God and Father, we give you praise and thanksgiving. Open our hearts, our minds, and our souls to receive your word today, and know it the way you wish us to know it today, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. And so, here's the question. You ready? Here it is. Can you say that the disciples are in the same boat we are in today? See the pun I just said? I'm full of it today, by the way. Full of it. Full of puns, not maybe what you're thinking of. How are they the same? Well, let's talk about that for a minute here. All right? Let's talk about who they were. They're disciples. Now, what's disciples mean? You guys have an understanding of disciples? Disciples means from the Greek word Matthew or Matthias, which means disciple, which means, okay, let me can you go back, please? Go back. I don't know. Let me go. Those are. There it is. I don't know why I messed up like that. I know why, because I'm being videotaped. It means learners. It means students. That's what being disciples mean. That's what we are. We're learners. We're students. In fact, all through Matthew, you have examples of Jesus doing this very kind of thing for the disciples to learn. He sent the disciples out to replicate his own ministry back in Matthew 10. He told them to engage in mission without regard to reimbursement or financial security. In fact, he told them to go without anything. You need to go ahead and rely on other people and bring the message. He sent them away from each other so they didn't have the security of each other. He asked them to be dependent on others for their food and shelter. He told the disciples to leave the comfort of their home and wander out into the world. He required the disciples to submit to a rigorous discipline of mutual accountability and expected the disciples to forgive others beyond their extravagant visions of forgiveness in the first place. He wants them to be what Christ is doing. And it happens throughout the entire book of Matthew. And that's what we see here a little bit as well. We're supposed to be like Christ. Are we supposed to be like Christ? What's it say in Ephesians 5:1-2? Therefore be imitators of God as we love children. Walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us. A fragrant offering, a sacrifice to God. We're to be like Christ. And here's one that I like even better than that because it really puts it more in perspective. Because this is Paul talking to the Corinthians. And he tells the Corinthians, hey, you need to imitate me, Paul. Well, that's pretty supportive or whatever it is. But he says, because I'm like Christ. I'm not Christ because then you sort of elevate yourself a little too high. But like, I'm trying to be like. And what you guys are supposed to do. As a pastor and as Sunday school teachers, we're held to a higher responsibility. But you Christians are held to a higher responsibility as well because the world looks at you. And are you being like Christ? When somebody cuts you off on the road at the exit, are you being like Christ by shaking your fist at them? But that's what they're seeing sometimes, and that's not like Christ, is it? They need to know, the Christian, that you are acting in a way that's reflective of the love of Christ. It's important. That's what we need to be. It's hard. He's perfect. Pastor, I can't live up to that kind of standard. You're right. You might as well give up, right? You might as well give up. And that's what go ahead and do that, focus on why you can't do something, you might as well roll in that fat lady and warm up them vocal cords. The game's over. No, Jesus said, what do you have? It's a challenge. You simply need to get out the boat, so to speak. If you don't, you're never going to be like Christ. Hey, I'm a good swimmer. You know how that happened? I had to get in the water. If I didn't get in the water, I was never going to learn how to swim. Ever. It's a challenge. You simply got to try. So now we find the disciples in the boat, right? And the seas are rough, right? The wind is blowing. The waves are hitting the boat. And it's not a very big boat, right? Why, you must ask yourself, or I do, why are they there in the first place? Why are they there? The seas might get rough. In fact, if I was to think about it, look it up, I'll bet that storms routinely whip themselves up right about this time of year all the time. Why are they there? Well, they're there for the same reason you're here today. They listen to Jesus. They follow Jesus. Jesus said, get in the boat, go. Oh, I guess we'll get in the boat. You guys are here in church today, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Right? Hebrews 10:25. Don't forsake the assembling of ourselves together. That's one of the basic functions of a Christian. I'm born again. I'm saved. I'm of Christ. I'm a disciple. I'm learning. Let's go to the place where I've got to get that. That's together here in church. And another one here in 1 Corinthians, I didn't put on a slide, 11:17. Paul is talking to the Corinthians, and he's actually rebuking them, giving them a little lesson. He says, you know, when you guys do come together as a church, because it's known, it's understood. And he said it in a way of, I know you're coming together. That's what you're supposed to do. So they're in a boat together because they were just simply following what Christ said to do. So we're all together. They're all together. And like us, and this is kind of important also, they are not the same kind of people. Neither of us. You are not the same as me. Susan's not the same as Bart. And across the board, we're all different. Some of them were fishermen, some of them were tax collectors, zealots. They were different personalities, different backgrounds. Peter was eager, aggressive, outspoken. I like to think of him as a little puppy because he likes to talk before he even thinks about it. John, on the other hand, doesn't speak much. He thinks a lot before he speaks. Thomas, very much doubt things. He needs to have things proven to him. You've got to touch, feel, see. How about Philip? Philip's great. He's a seeking heart. In fact, he's responsible for bringing Nathaniel on board in the first place. They're all different. Yet, they were all in the same place together. Why is that? And why does that even work? Why do we work? Well, it has something to do with Jesus says something a little bit later on in our passage. It's because we have one focus. We have church division because you lose that focus. We focus on God. We focus on Jesus. We focus on a hope of the future that not only we want other people to want with us if we're to be like Christ. The military absolutely dependent on this whole singular focus thing for it to be able to work properly. They even have a quote for otherwise. What's the recipe to win? Divide and conquer. Make them less. Together you're strong. Chaos and fear and so on is a way to divide people. The conditions were rough. And they're always going to be rough. Always going to be rough. They're out to sea. It was never going to be anything but rough. Was it stormy before they left? It does actually say it was. But there was a storm brewing, wasn't it? The mob of people wanted Jesus to be their king. Jesus said, all right, we need to go ahead and nip this in the bud. I need you guys to go. So they found themselves in a storm because? Well, because they were in God's will. They were in a storm because of God's will. Now, doesn't that just beat off? Would they have been in God's will if they were on the shore with Jesus trying to maintain these grounds? No. That wasn't his will. He said, what? Get in the boat. Go that way. That's God's will. They found themselves there. Now, Jonah was in a storm. Was he in God's will? No. No, storms aren't necessarily bad, but they could be, depending on whether you're following God's advice or not following God's advice. The problem is that storms, we get stuck and we like to rely on ourselves right away. Self-preservation kicks in, and then fear the storm in God's will than on land with the crowds out of God's will. That's something we kind of need to remember. Jonah was in a storm because he disobeyed God and had to be corrected. It was a storm of correction. The disciples were in a storm in God's will. Maybe they're being tested. Maybe this is a challenge. Not impossible, not difficult, but challenge. Right? They got tested before. Do you remember that? I think it's in chapter 8, maybe. And Jesus is with the disciples, and they're on the same conditions out in the water. The wind, the waves, the storm hitting them, and Jesus is asleep. He's not worried. You got to be like Christ. He's not worried. Nothing's going to happen. You're with Jesus. But everybody else was, and you're waking him up. Wake up, Jesus. At least be awake and die. Oh, awake like the rest of us. Why, that sounds like what you're saying. Go on, can't you have the good nature of just being awake with us when we die? He says, no, you guys, solar calms it down. So here they are again. And Jesus put them there. So how will they react now? They should know better, shouldn't they? You've done it before. I'm not physically there. How are they going to react? Oh, well, they failed again. Failed again. They're reacting poorly. Allowed fear to grip and really get hold of them again. But then that's so is the nature of learning. You got to go through this learning. Learning. What was that? What was that disciple thing? What's that all about? Learning. If you don't have any issues, if you don't have trials, if you don't have tribulations, you're never going to learn a single thing, are you? Christians have this whole mistaken idea that obedience to God will produce smooth sailing. I don't know who sold you that bucket of wolf cookies, but you need to go get your money back, because that's not the case at all. In John 16:33, Jesus promised us tribulation in his name. And the one I like to say all the time in Psalms, good gravy. Psalms 23. We'll go past that one. That was a joke. I missed it. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And you've heard me say this before. It doesn't say, hey, when I get to the valley of the shadow of death. No, we're there. You're walking away from church in the valley of the shadow of death. And the only way you don't fear any evil is if God is with you. And I'm going to tell you that fear is still there anyways. And just the way that you deal with it, that's different. Have I told you that I was in 2 hurricanes in my lifetime? Count them, 2 hurricanes in my lifetime. The second one was 2000s. I don't remember exactly when, but it was Hurricane Opal, if you recall that one in the news. And I was in Alabama. I was in Fort Rucker, Alabama. Fort Rucker's not necessarily on the coast. It was up a little bit. And so by the time Hurricane Opal got to us, it was only a Category 1 hurricane only. Category 1. And really, that's not too bad. It's just a really rough one. When we got the whole airfield prepared and everything else, and then they had us retreat back to our barracks. And our barracks was like a U, is what it was. And instead of being in our rooms, we went outside into the barracks area there, in between the U, where we felt pretty secure from the wind. We put down our chairs, got some pop, cooler, and some chips, and we had a hurricane party. And we were not scared one little bit. You know why? We were on land. We were in a barracks area. We had all sorts of what ifs, then we could type of stuff. Now, the first hurricane I was in, I rarely talked about. I don't even think I've talked to my wife about it. And it's called, it was Hurricane Emily. 1997 is when this hurricane hit us. I was in the Navy at the time. We just come out of dry dock. And what you do when you come out of dry dock in the Navy is you have to go down to the Caribbean in Puerto Rico and Gitmo, one place and the other for both these kinds of tests, to make sure the ship is ship-shaped, basically, to be able to be part of a carrier group. And so we're down there doing tests. And the, I guess, tracking systems, NORAD, wasn't as sophisticated as it is today. And while there was a storm knowledgeable, knowing it's coming, it really wasn't identified as going to come at us. Until it's too late. So, oh no, here comes a storm. What are we going to do? Well, you can't be in a hurricane at the docks. It'll destroy the boat. So we have to go out into the storm. That's how you have to survive. It's a hurricane. This was a Category 3 hurricane at sea. So we take our ship, and it's a Dinosaur Destroyer, DDG, the USS McDonough, to be exact. Look up history, anything like that. And what you do when you're at sea in a storm is you've got to point the bow directly into the storm. It's the strongest point. We can take a hit. And so we go into it, and I can tell you, before the storm even was visible, every person on that ship was just white with fear and dread. And the waves were much bigger than anything we've ever experienced. And waves are really only identified from sea level up. You still have swells. It's just as big in some cases. And then you have that wall of water when you put those two things together that the ship sort of goes into, then up. And then you list to the starboard side or right side or port side, the other one, and it feels like you're rolling over every other minute. The fear that gripped me was something I had never experienced in my life, and would I never want anyone else to experience ever again. If on land, well, I had no fear on land. But if the ship was gone, if something happened to the ship, what would it be? What? Death. I mean, no ship, no security, nothing. I do not want to leave my security. And not only is it just water, I'm a great swimmer, but it's a hurricane. I don't know if I'm hearing too many hero stories of people surviving a hurricane all by themselves treading water. You got lifeboats. Yeah, it's a hurricane. Things just went down. That's called chaos. I've always wondered if the disciples felt that fear that I felt that day. And it's one of those things I think we sort of need to try to associate and understand. The fear. Have you ever had fear? I've been in 2 shooting battles before. I've been in the Middle East several times. Twice people shot at me in 2 different engagements. That was the most fearful I've been. Was that time. Is that how the disciples felt, you think? I bet you it might be. The boat was much smaller. The waves, though not much bigger, was going on. And they had no life vests and lifeboats or anything. They had robes that when wet was going to pull them to the ground. I don't think they want any of that. And there they were. So they were so gripped with fear. And here comes Jesus. Here he comes. The guy that they've been with, learning, teaching, following, living with, eating with, they'll recognize it. It's a ghost! That's what fear does to you. It messes with you so much that it is now the new authoritative decision maker in your life at that very moment. And here comes Jesus coming out of the storm. And look, I like this artist rendering here because in front of Jesus, the storm behind him is clear. I'm not sure if that's really what it is. You can come up with your own image on how the whole storm is with Jesus and everything. Is he getting wet? I don't know that answer. And here it comes. And he says, here's the money statement. Are you ready for this? He says, take heart. Be of good cheer. Remain calm, depending on your version that you're reading. And here's what he says, and this is it. He says, it is I. Do not be afraid. He says, hey, quit allowing fear to dictate you. Why should you not be afraid? Because I'm here. Hey, does this remind you of anything? It is I, he says. I've read about 7 to 10 different versions, and though it says take heart and give good cheer, it always says it is I. And that's a lot like Exodus 3:14, don't you think? Where Moses asks God, hey, who should I say sent me? I am. Tell him I am sent you. The great I am. It is I. There's no other place in the Bible, perhaps, that doesn't show the lordship of Jesus more than walking on water and saying, I am. Why should you not be afraid? Is Jesus in your life or not? Is he? That's why we can have a singular focus and be able to work together. That's it. Jesus is providing that for us. Why can we have so many different backgrounds and work together as one? Jesus is why. And also Peter, at this point. Everybody in the boat is beginning to regain their mentality again. Although not entirely. It's still stormy out there and still things going on. Peter, on the other hand, turns all the way around. He's like, he's that dog. He goes from scared, whatever, to, ooh, I want to come out there. Can I come with you, Jesus? I want to be in the water. Pick, let me come out. Right? That's what he says. please. But here's what I find most interesting. And here's what I think we need to sort of look at, and maybe ask a question and look at this, is why was nobody else all fired up to get out that boat? Nobody. Just Jesus. You remember what I said number 5 was? What I say number 5 was, our churches have an ineffective evangelistic strategy of, you come, instead of we go. So here we are. Right? Who's Jesus? Jesus is someone who can walk on water. Right? He is the Lord of our life. And I'm willing to be just like Jesus as long as it's good weather. I'm not leaving the security of my boat for anything. Well, no, Peter does, but nobody else. Can you see that now? So, there's Peter. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, I forgot this part. Jesus says, remain calm, I'm with you. He says it a lot, actually. What did he say at the end of the Great Commission? You guys remember that part? What was that words he said at the end of the Great Commission? Oh, it's not there. That's the Peter thing. He says, lo, I'm with you always, even at the end of the world. Yeah, I'm right there. Peter says, pick me. Can I come? He says, yes, come. So he gets out over this. And he starts walking towards Jesus. Right? But this is what happens every time. Believe me, every time this happens, regardless of when we decide to get out that boat, when we start doing what Jesus wants us to do, when we start following the call of God in our life, there's that one thing that's always going to happen, and that's trials and tribulation, something. And he's on the water. And he's looking at Jesus, and he is totally focused until he feels a little bit of wetness on his cheek. So, oh, that's right. I just remembered there's a storm going on. And I'm in my robes, and I'm on the water, and I'm not in the boat, and you can tell a flood of opposing force starts just pounding in on him. And when that starts happening, and that water starts to come in, it's just it's an onslaught, and down he goes. But he does the right thing. Help me, Jesus. At least he did that right. He got there. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and Son and Holy Spirit. But you're going to have to go and get out the boat, therefore, to do all that. That's okay. He's with us always, even to the end of the age. You see, church, the disciples went through a whole lot of trials and tribulations during their days of fulfilling the call in their life after all this. They were jailed, they were beaten, they were rebuked, they were tortured, they were chained, they were shackled, they had threats of being stoned, beheaded, hung, which happened to a lot of them anyways. All right? But it was precisely because they learned how to rely on God, right? Don't be afraid, I'm here, that was able to help them navigate through the storms that they had later on in life. It's called trial by fire. Again, we're safer in a storm in God's will than in any other storm without it. That's a fact. That they had harder than us. They don't have a church. We got one. They had to start from scratch. The fear of death was so much more prominent for them, but they had to go out and start churches, plant churches, sustain churches. We're just being called out to sustain the churches. Take the gospel to somebody. Say, hey, you know Jesus? Let me tell you a little something about this guy. It was that church I was telling you about earlier in the story. They're holding up the signs. And I stopped. I love how, is it working out? How you doing? What made you decide to do this? How's it going? And they said, well, I'll tell you what, he said, we were a dead church. Dead, he says. We did nothing to think about how dead we were. And we didn't know what to do. The pastor left. We had 5 people on Sunday morning. We didn't know what to do. And then this old retired pastor comes along, who happened to be across the street at the time when I was talking to him. And he says, you know, just because you only have 5 members doesn't mean you can't do something for God. It doesn't mean that the mission that you've been called to do has stopped. What can you do? Echoing exactly what Jesus said up there in the can you do? What do you have? Well, we can put up signs and walk around. We can do that. So that's what they did. And before you know it, well, very much effort, just listening to the call of God in their lives, they got about 20 people in church pretty soon. And the old retired pastor found a new home. He started preaching there. And it has started to grow. So, instead of focusing on the death, which is what we like to do, and what the disciples were doing, they decided to focus on the life of Christ. Life. Focus on life. That's what it means to live. To leave the security of your house. To leave the security of the church. To leave the security of the car. To leave the security of each and every one of us, because we're pretty brave together. How brave are we when it's time for us to go on our own? You got to step out the boat. Then they now have a church again. But now they have more people on the street corner. They don't just populate one street corner. They populate several street corners. Can you imagine what it's going to look like in a number of years when they have enough people and they populate the whole town? Maybe they can go to other towns. You see how this works out? The disciples were just 12 people. There's millions of us now. It all has to start with being like Christ. Can you be like Christ this week? Being like Christ is not being held up in our houses. Being like Christ is not being silent. Being like Christ is stepping out of the boat and getting out into the storm, but having faith and having good cheer and remaining calm, because being in the storm in God's will is better than any other storm in the back. Maybe, just maybe, if we do a little bit of that, possibly, that graph we saw earlier, we're going to go ahead and start leveling out just a little bit. We can have a revival. We're not done. Tribulation hasn't started. Let's be like Christ today and see what we can do about the population. Not necessarily you guys. You're awesome. But it's the church in general that we're concerned about. Not about us, not about this body of believers. It's about the body of believers we have in the United States here today. Hey, let's go to the Lord in prayer.